You know those garages and storage containers that you walk by, drive by, you always think, I wonder what's in there. And one day, oh, the door's open. You kind of sneak a peek and you see a headlight, and you know there's something interesting in there. Kind of move the other side, see the other side. Still can't tell what the heck it is though. Usually there's some old guy with a shotgun hanging around. You ask him to look inside, and there it is. Still not sure what it is, but it definitely looks interesting. Is it homemade? No, it's a 1952 Crosley FarmOroad. And this one belonged to my Uncle Bart up there in Merlin, Oregon. Old Bart Barker. Shout out to Connie and Gary, who I guess spent a lot of time in this little guy, and running around the property, parades and such. They're actually kind of a cute little car, aren't they? Kind of a little mini Jeep. And this one's been modified, pretty heavily. I mean, it's got the fenders and the railing there and the wood decking and the wood touches and the bumpers and tail lights. And there's a lot of original on there, but there's also been a lot of modifying. I think he did a really good job, actually. I think it looks kind of neat. Yeah. Here's some of the wood paneling inside he did. And those gauges, actually those don't work. They certainly aren't original. Kind of neat though. Must have looked really nice when he first did it. Shiny and all. These bumpers, I don't know where he got these. These are kind of wild. Little bit of a circus touch. Front bumper, pretty straightforward. I don't know, looks like an old Pontiac bumper or something, huh? Not really sure what. A little winch on there. That wasn't hooked up either. Gotta love the tires with the white paint to make them white walls. The tires on this car were all flat, but they were so hard they were still standing up. Oh boy. And then side pipes. What? I mean, if you don't have side pipes, you aren't cool, even if they aren't hooked up. And then the brass doorknob for the gas pedal. A Crosley wouldn't be complete without it, I'm sure. I do like the wood. I know this isn't original, but I like this polished wood for the pickup bed. That just plain looks good. Yeah, the windshield, that's not original either. But we'll come back to that. And then there's the motor, the 44 cubic inch, 27 horsepower, 4-cylinder, overhead cam, screaming little high revving Crosley motor. These things are great little engines. They're used on everything from their Crosley cars, boats, generators, military. Great little one. But this one's coming out. And we're going to go with pure electric, EV. So let's get to it. Let's jack it up. All jacked up. Got my blanket hanging down there. Whoops. Okay, I'm back. That was my mom calling. Got the blanket there. Can't go rolling around the ground in the pine needles. Got to have a decent blanket. All ready to do some wrenching. And here it comes. There's the motor. It's seen better days, that's for sure. There's Patrick. He said he could have just pulled the motor out by himself, but we had the tractor helping him. Yeah, this poor engine, it was shot. It burned so much oil it really couldn't even run. But maybe we'll put it away and do something with it later. Here's the wood coming out. I'm going to keep this stuff because it looked kind of good. I think I'll probably put that back in. We'll see how it goes. There's rear wheels starting to take off the tires. see what we can do with those. Those are the extensions for the dually wheels. So now we got the wheels off, all jacked up. Ah, there's a funny picture. Yep, there's an even funnier picture. Okay. The old guy, greasy. Looks like he's ready for a bath and to be put away. Some of the old wiring. My goodness. That was a rat's nest, huh? Here's the back frame without the wood in it. A little rusty, but it looks like it's never been crunched. Looks all pretty straight. This is some kind of a tail light housing, I think, with a cord coming out of it. I guess at one time you had 6 volts coming out of there in case you needed it someplace. There's the back end all stuck up. There's that rear end. It's a beefy rear end for such a small car. And here's the steering wheel. Apparently that little horn button's kind of rare, so I'm going to keep that around. And there's our engine bay. And there's our bell housing down in there. I'm going to have to clean up this engine bay a little bit, and we'll get to that bell housing, because that's where the adapter plate and the electric motor are going to hook up. Here's some little things I pulled out of the dash there. Aren't going to be used anymore. Look like they've been spliced 3 or 4 times. The switch may be original, but that wiring's not. Oh boy, this stuff is old. Won't be needing that anymore, at least not on the new setup. Here's a piece of aluminum foil this was wrapped around the connection of the header pipe to the exhaust pipe. With a bunch of wire. It's quite a connection there. Nice old brass radiator coming out. How pretty is that? Young Radiator Company, Racine, Wisconsin, manufactured for 1951. I'll bet that's the original radiator, huh? They made them good back then. Oh my God, look at all this. Who is this guy? 7 tires, 7 wheels on one car. 4 in the back, 2 in the front, 1 on the side. It's a lot of tires for such a little car. So now I thought, well, I'll just make a template of this bell housing here and start working on the adapter plate, on the size, measuring for the adapter plate. So there it is down there. There's a close-up of the deal. I ended up not using this template, but I thought I'd show it anyway. Here's the transmission shaft. I was just measuring how long it is and how long the pilot shaft was, and on its position on the bell housing. Information that I wanted to have but ended up not using it, but there it is. Here's the plate off the motor. Got the model number there, serial number, date of manufacture 5/18/53. So since this is a 52 Crosley, this might not have been the original motor now, huh? Oh well, it's out now. And there it is in all its glory. Oh, the beautiful little Crosley motor, all washed up and ready to be put away. There's our clutch disc, which we will be retaining. And there's that spline, which will be the spline to be going back onto the transmission shaft once we get the electric motor coupler built. Might as well drain the engine oil there, I guess, if I'm not going to use it. It's the last time that's going to be done in a while, huh? And there's the motor all tucked away on the loft with its old good friend there. And there's another, that's the other Crosley engine I have, and that's in a stand being used as, well, it was used as a generator. Interesting. I'm sure there's an interesting story there. Here's another shot of the back end with that taillight housing. And the reason I think it's a taillight housing because this is what's in front of it. It looks like an old bulb was screwed in there and broke off. So, I don't know. You tell me. So that's what we got. The tubes have all been patched, new valve stems, tires put back on, engine bay cleaned out, and ready for a electric motor. But since the body is in such a funky shape, and there's the wiring I pulled out. Ugh. That is not usable, is it? That is just a mess. Oh, and here's the frame tag I found. Looks like FarmOroad, Crosley Motors FarmOroad 1087. So I think 600 of these were built. So maybe they started at number 1000 and this is number 87. Not sure. After a little goofing around, I realized the transmission was pretty bad shape. So let's pull it out and give it a clean up and a rebuild. Not much to it there. The bearings pretty loose, and the bushings in the cluster gear up there on top were pretty worn out. This old thing's had some tough miles. Probably we'll blame that on Gary. How's that sound? So there's the tranny all cleaned up. And speaking of cleaning up, you know, a lot of these blogs and posts about doing these EV conversions don't talk about this much. There's a lot of hours of this. Sitting with a brush and a screwdriver and picking and brushing the grease and gunk off these old cars to try to get them cleaned up so you got something decent to work with. That's my happy face. You should see when I'm tired of it. Well, we thought, well, since we've come this far, let's pull the body off. There's Vance, my neighbor, and his loader. Actually, that's Scott's loader. Helping out. I'm pulling, he's lifting. And there it is. That's only about 10 bolts to pull that body off. Oh, look at that. Job well done. That took a whole 10 minutes. That's one of the cutest little bodies, huh? Speaking of bodies, there's the new body. It's a little nicer looking. Oh, she's smiling. She must have heard me. Here's something that came out. This is the steering box. The Ross single lever cam steering box. You see a lot of these in old Jeeps. What a greasy, gooky mess that is, huh? That's going to be for the solvent pan. Here's the master cylinder and all the old. I think I'm going to pull all that out and put in all new brake lines. Sound like a good idea? There's that rear end, ready for the sandblast. New oil. Check the brakes. Sounds good. Oh, here's the front end. Same thing. Check the brakes, sandblast it, repaint, relube everything. I think it'll be just fine. There's our frame. Got all the brake lines off. Ready for sandblasting. And while we're doing all that, here's the transmission bolted back up to the, all rebuilt. Bolted back up to the bell housing, all cleaned up with the flywheel and the clutch disc back on there. Here it is all packed up. Shipping it off to Utah to Electric Car Parts Company. They're going to build the adapter plate and the coupler, the transmission to electric motor coupler. And then we're also going to select the electrics as far as the controller, the, what do you call it? The gas pedal, and all the other stuff. And we'll get into that later.